entitles me to, with pleasure, introduce your two presenters. I'd like to introduce Carolyn Irving. She is with the Colchester East Hants Health Authority. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you.
And Len Thomas. He's with Pictou County Health Authority. And so I'm sure we're in for a very interesting workshop. And so thank you for coming, and
Great.
I look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Good, thank you. Thank you. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for having us here today. When we were asked to come and talk about Your Way to Wellness, we were super excited. It's a program that whoever becomes involved with it becomes quite passionate about it as well. We were told that we should try to make this as interactive as possible. So I didn't bring a laptop with a presentation because I want you guys to feel exactly as our participants feel as they go through our program at Your Way to Wellness. So I do have handouts that I gave to you, and unfortunately I only had 20 copies. So I will go through a quick little presentation just on paper, and then what we're going to do is walk you guys through what one of the sessions look like with Your Way to Wellness, okay? Just to give you an idea of how it feels, and if you're going and talking, or if you're interested in participating in your own district, you'll have a better idea of what it feels like. So just to kind of give a little bit of an overview of where this comes from and what it is. The Your Way to Wellness program has been kicking around since 2009. It's been around Nova Scotia since then. So the program itself was developed by Stanford University. It's a self-management program that's been evaluated up the wazoo. And so Nova Scotia went and they purchased the license to deliver it here in our province, and they renamed it Your Way to Wellness. So that's the program itself. Just some facts about chronic disease in general. 2/3 of Nova Scotians report having a chronic condition. And we often say to people when they walk into our program that they may come to our program and they don't know they have a chronic condition, but by the time they leave, we will have found one. Because we often have them and we don't know.
We'll all be hypochondriacs.
Oh yes, we might be hypochondriacs. That's a great point. Yeah. So 1 year of cost of chronic disease in Nova Scotia cost our system $3 billion, and that was a stat from 2002. So as we age, as our population is aging and folks are coming back to Nova Scotia to retire, that stat has increased over the years as well. Traditional system approaches to chronic disease management are not effective or sustainable. We're being told more and more by our family physicians that we need to be proactive. We need to take an active role in our own health. And giving people the skills to be able to do that is what Your Way to Wellness is all about. Fine and dandy to tell people, take an active role in your life. What the heck does that mean? And how do we go and do that? So that's what this program is, and it helps to teach people how to do that, signs and what to recognize and what not. So what is self-management? Learning and practicing skills necessary to carry on an active and emotionally satisfying life in the face of chronic condition. If we're diagnosed with something, life goes on, and life can still carry on in a healthy way, and that's what the self-management principles are all about. So the program itself is peer-led education program for individuals that are living with chronic diseases. The other thing with the program is that we also encourage folks who are the caregivers or who are the people who are living with the person who has a chronic condition, for them to come along as well. So my husband suffers from chronic pain, and we actually went to the program together, and what a neat experience for us both to go through that together. Because as the caregiver in the family, I was able to appreciate more what he was going through, some of the ups and downs, and when he's going off and doing some funny things, I have a better appreciation of why he may be doing that, because I've gone through and we've got to experience things together. Him, on the other hand, held a very different appreciation for the program, because he was able to sit down, talk to people with like things going on in their life. So again, it's for folks who are suffering or who have the chronic condition, and also for their loved ones as well. It's also a great supportive way for them to get out too, in a peer environment. So we're volunteers. Me, I work for the health authority, so this is one of the programs that I look after. I'm completely green when it comes to delivering the program. And we have Len, who's a very seasoned lay leader with us today, so we'll be relying on his expertise as we go through the module itself.
Oh, I thought they were telling us. You didn't tell me that.
Oh, yeah, no, you're going to be on in a sec. So the program itself is run by volunteers. Our volunteers are the ones who lead the program for our participants, and the uptake is just phenomenal. Again, there's 20 years of research and evaluation built into this as well. So how it's delivered. It's delivered provincially, so each district health authority, so I understand folks in the room are from all around the province, so each health authority has this program within their district, okay? And it's delivered within your district. It could be in each individual pocket of a community. So one of the things that we find with this program is that we try hard to take the program to the people, as opposed to, we're offering this program in Truro and we want everybody from Bass River to come to Truro. It's not really realistic for them to come over to the communities. So the purpose of this is taking this program to the people within their communities. And so again, it's offered all over the province, and it happens one day a week for 6 weeks, and the sessions are about an hour and a half in length. Okay, so it's a short period of time, and but what we do notice is those groups that come together learn all kinds of great skills, go through a lot of experiences together, and then carry on those relationships that they have made within their self-management group that they've just created. So that's really great. In terms of where they're held, we're encouraged to not hold these sessions within a hospital. Hospitals are often seen to be, I'm sick, so I'm going to go to the hospital. We don't want them to feel like that. Yes, you have a chronic condition, but we're encouraging you to live a healthy life. So we want to take this outside of the hospital. So many times our sessions are held within community rooms, church basements, fire halls, wherever they can have a session, wherever they can hold a session. In some communities, it might be somebody's living room, but that's okay because it's comfortable for the community. So that's great. In terms of referral, people are encouraged to do self-referral for this program. One of the things when we first started off is that with the program is physicians be referred to it. Physicians have a lot on the go, and having to remember all the programs that are available to them is tough. So we encourage people to self-refer to the program. And the other thing is that means they're ready. They're taking the step, and that's part of the self-management principle is I'm ready to take charge of my life and live a healthier one. So self-referral is the way to go. So in terms of leaders and so the folks who are delivering the program, they've gone through extensive training to deliver the program, and the training is over, well, it happens over a week in terms of days. For mine, it was split up because of snowstorms, of course, in lovely Nova Scotia. So they go through extensive training, and we're not experts. We're facilitators, and there's scripted, my book is there. There's very scripted content that is often read, or for the seasoned facilitator, they know it very well. So facilitators are held to that. We don't want them going off script and getting into a conversation with participants where they're lecturing or they're trying to teach something. It is more of a facilitation atmosphere where we're encouraging thought, we're encouraging conversation, and encouraging change for folks. So by all means, we're not experts, and our volunteers are not expected to be experts as well. So on the back of this, there is a website where you can find out more. I mean, I just flipped through this. I'll just make this available through whoever I need to, for everybody to have a copy of this as well, if you're interested in that. But there's a website on the back of this presentation form that you can find out more information about when sessions are being held in your own district and how to get involved, and more detail about what it's all about if you wanted to forward that off to clients or loved ones or yourselves. So that's a bit of an overview of the program itself. And the other thing that we handed out was something that looks like this. This is a workshop overview and a brochure. If you don't have either or, let us know and we can hand those out to you. The brochure is the one that's available. This is a provincial brochure, so it's available in all districts as well. It gives a little bit of information about what the program's about and how to get in touch with somebody to get yourself registered for a program. So that's good information. If you need more, then they're up here. This particular handout that I gave you is called Workshop Overview. So this is an overview of all of the topics that are covered in our program over the duration of the 6 weeks. And some things are touched on, and some things are talked about over and over again throughout the program. And so for the purpose of today, and where we're going next this morning, is Len's I'm going to hand it over to Len here, and we're going to focus in on one particular week so that you get an appreciation for what participants would go through as they come to a Your Way to Wellness session.
Thank you. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, like Carolyn said, is go through an actual module. Each module we have, there's 6 modules. Each module we have has anywhere from 5 to 8 activities, depending on what the module is. The module we'll be doing today is going to be a little bit shortened because of time constraints, but we're going to go through it as best we can and try to get as interactive as we can. And first off, the way that the program starts is we introduce the program, which is done, which is Ways to Wellness Chronic Disease Self-Management Workshop. And when we say self-management workshop, we mean just that. It is self-management. We do not do anything for you other than deliver the program. If you need something photocopied, you have to do it yourself. It's as simple as that. It's self-management. Then we go on to introduce the facilitators. In this case, like my name's Len Thomas, this is Carolyn Irving. We'll be your facilitators for this session. The program is put on by the various different health authorities, depending on which health authority area that you live in. So when that's introduced as well, then we go through like housekeeping items, like where the washroom is, where the parking is. We tell people, you know, like, please turn off your cell phones unless you absolutely have to have them on, etc. Then we go through, and you will see, like, we will be reading from time to time because we are instructed to do that. Stanford University puts this out. It was put out in 2006. It was revised in 2012. And Waterloo University in Canada is the co-facilitator with Stanford University. So they tell us that we are to follow this script exactly. Well, as you can see, the book's kind of thick, so we can't memorize it all, particularly at our age. So we have, I'd say hour, meaning me. We have our charts that we go through, and each session has a chart. And our very first one that we go through is our self-management tasks. And the tasks that you're given is number 1, to take care of your health conditions. Number 2 is to carry out your normal activities and manage your emotional changes. Now, I'm going to step back just a little bit. I've been doing this program since early 2010. I've done probably, if my memory corrects me, about 18 or 19 of them. I have some success stories, and which keeps me going. I really love the program. And I had one gentleman back in 2011, and he came to the program one morning, and I have his permission to tell you this. He came to the program one morning, and we go through and we asked everybody, you know, like, okay, what's your chronic health condition, and et cetera, et cetera. His first response to me was, I don't even know why I'm here. He says, 9:30 in the morning. Normally I don't get up till dinner time. And he had several different things wrong. He had gout, he had diabetes, he had chronic pain. He had several different things. Anyway, he kept coming. Every morning he was there. By the end of the program, he was getting up at 7 o'clock. He was eating 3 full meals a day. He was walking every day. He was swimming. He cut his own wood and stored it. He got his treadmill out of the basement and started using it. And this was all within that 6-week period. Wow. So to me, it was a really... It didn't matter to me if anybody else in the program was successful or not. That gentleman was, and that keeps me going. And I get that quite often, and I'm not the only one, different ones do. And as I say, we have our charts. Our next chart, what we do is number 3. See, what happens with the 2 facilitators, when one facilitator is doing the program, the other facilitator is assisting with the charts and writing or whatever. So we have our guidelines, which is come to every session, be respectful of others and their ideas, maintain confidentiality. That's a very key thing. Whatever is said during the course stays within the course. And give any activities at least a 2-week trial to see if it's going to work for you or not. Make a completely weekly action plan, which we will explain later on what that is. and turn off your cell phones. So those are things we go through. And we go through these every morning that we start. Now the programs are developed and given sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes in the evening. As Carolyn said, we go to the community. It's up to the community people that are going there when it's convenient for them. We as facilitators, we make ourselves available. Okay. That's just a brief overview of how we start. Now we're going to go into our next phase, which is the actual program. I just have to find it here in my book. And our next session that we're going to be doing this morning is called Making Healthy Food Choices. So now we're going to discuss some guidelines about healthy eating. Remember that you may not be able to eat perfectly all the time, but most of us can take small steps as what we choose to eat. Here are some basic guidelines to help us make better choices. We go to chart 19. Van is a little slow this morning, so.
It must be my age.
So, okay, we have worked towards 7 portions of fruit and vegetables a day. And what it is in your bigger books here. I don't know, I think there is some scattered around. It's on page 178. These books are great references for people. When you go to a class, you're given one of these books, which is yours to keep. Nova Scotia is one of the few provinces in Canada you don't have to pay for this.
Do you have to pay for the program? Yeah.
No, it's free. Just your time. So, okay, work towards 7 portions of fruit and or vegetables a day. 5 a day is a recommended minimum. These are a good source of fiber and vitamins and minerals. They help to avoid constipation. They have no cholesterol, are a healthy source of carbohydrates, which is your vegetables and fruits. Depending on how they are prepared, they have little or no fat. If 7 portions seem like a lot, then work gradually at adding a portion of 2 each day. This might make a good action plan, which I said you're going to hear the word action plan quite a bit. You better remember it because that's on the test.
We're doing a test.
Gotcha. So we choose foods that are lower in fat. Choose leaner cuts of meat and eat more fish. Eat combinations of plant proteins like rice and beans. Use unsaturated fats. These fats are these fats are liquid at room temperature like olive oil. Avoid saturated fats that are solid at room temperature like butter. As you read the labels, it is best to eat foods with no more than 5 grams of fat per portion. Next one, limit foods that can raise cholesterol. This is important for maintaining good blood pressure and for preventing heart attacks and stroke. 2 things determine our cholesterol: heredity and diet. We cannot change our heredity, but we can change what we eat. I'm going a little quick because I say we are time constraints. So eat less meat and dairy products, as cholesterol is only found in animal products. Avoid or limit saturated and trans fats because they cause our body to make cholesterol. Trans fats are solid at room temperature but do not come from animals. Solid shortening, partially hydrogenated ingredients are trans fats. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, watch your carbohydrates. That's very important. The recommended amount of carbohydrates for most people with diabetes is 45 to 60 grams per meal. That's not a lot. As I say, you find all of this information is in there. Everything is in that book. It's a great book. I like this one way better than the previous one. The previous one makes good burning. Okay, reduce the amount of salt or other sources of sodium. These can increase blood pressure and heart disease. Sodium is often hidden, so be sure to read the labels. Reduce the amount of salt added to food or do not add it at all. Believe it or not, when you buy bottled water, take a look. It's got sodium. A lot of people don't believe that.
Milk too.
Yep.
Milk too.
Yep, milk does as well. But bottled water has sodium. And sodium, by the way, if you go online, you can find out how much sodium should be your daily intake. And for adults 14 to 50 years of age is 1,500 milligrams per day. That's not a lot. You can find that in one hamburger.
Yes.
Older adults 51 to 70 is 1,300 milligrams per day. And over 70 is 1,200 milligrams per day. So it's not a lot. Now, Carolyn's going to give some food labels. I have some extra ones if we need them. We only need 1 or 2 per table. I don't know how many of you actually read food labels.
Oh, yeah.
Most of you do. That's something that's just come in not that long ago. If you go back even 10 years, probably you'd find maybe 10% of the people who read food labels. Now, a lot of people read food labels. But this is all part of like the program that we give, is we do ask people to do that, to bring in food labels and take a look at it. We go through it in detail. Like I say, I won't go through it in detail today because of some time constraints. But just take a look at some of the food labels and take a look at your sodium content, carbohydrates. You know, there's different things. What I was amazed at is, you know, like the packaged TV dinners.
Oh.
Horrendous. Now we're going to go on to another module activity. And this one you're going to become more interactive with us on this one here. Okay, this is medication usage. We need chart 20. And what we're telling you here is you got to remember, we're not doctors and we're not pharmacists. We're just passing on information, believe me. You know, and just a stat is 10% of all of the emergency calls in Canada is due to misuse of medications. 10%, that's over 1 million people, are going to the emergency rooms from misuse of medications. And that can be for several different reasons. They can mix them, they can have too many and not know when to take them. There's all kinds of different reasons. So the purposes of medications is to relieve the symptoms. That's number 1. Such as inhalers or pain medications. Prevent further problems, such as diuretics, blood thinners to prevent stroke. Improve the disease or slow its progress, such as some heart medications and drugs for osteoporosis. Replace substances body normally produces, such as insulin and thyroid. So those are some of the purposes of medication. There can be others as well. Unfortunately, while medications can be very helpful, they also have a downside. Some of the problems with medication include such effects as 21. They may have no noticeable effects. When you think the medication is not working because the symptoms don't change, this may be due to the medication is working, but the symptoms don't change. So it could be working. Or the medication is working, but you feel the same. That happens as well. Or the medication hasn't started to work yet. Because some medications you take don't start right away. It's a progressive thing. And medication just isn't working. I've heard that statement so many times, I've forgotten it. But just because it's not working right now, don't stop taking it until you talk to your physician. Because you may think it's not working, but it could be. Okay? And some of the negative effects of it is the allergies. Dangerous and need immediate reporting. That if you they are usually easy to spot. You may develop a skin rash, hives, swelling, wheezing, not breathing normally. But when that happens, you should stop taking the medication right away and talk to your physician. And you have some side effects. And the side effects are annoying and unwanted, but mostly are not dangerous. Some are, but most are not. Most common is nausea, constipation, diarrhea, dizziness, sleeplessness, etc. But if you're having problems because of side effects, talk to your physician. Don't stop taking the medication until you talk to your physician. But on the other hand, if it's an allergy, stop taking it right away. 22. And if you're having trouble taking your medications, that's also in here as well. It tells you how to try to overcome that. Page 239. Medication responsibilities. And you inform all your healthcare providers of all medications and dosage. And that is all. Not just some. That's your pharmacist, your doctor. And when I say all medications, that includes like any over-the-counter medications that you may be taking. Because some people take vitamin C or whatever. You have to tell people that. A good way to keep your record, I can find it in here. Vial of Life. Most of you know what that is. You can get them at any pharmacy. They come in 2 different sizes. This is the large size. They also come in about half that size. And inside is a card that you can fill out all your medications that you're taking. You can get half a dozen of these if you want to. You can keep one in your car, one in your house, carry one in your purse. But you should list all your medications, including over-the-counter medications. And if you're leaving it in the house, you leave it in your fridge. That's where all your first responders are going to look. If you've got a Vial of Life, they're going to look in your fridge first. Because you may not be responsive. My advice is that anything you're taking, you list it. You make sure that everybody knows it. And the other thing is, if you're traveling out of the country, you should have one of these to take with you. Because also on that, it gives all the information of, like who your doctor is, who your pharmacist is. It gives all that information in there. And also it gives you, if there's a care provider, it would list that person too. So that in case, like if you were unconscious, there's a care provider and a phone number that you can contact. Just some good information. And make and carry a medication list, which is just what I showed you. Like I say, those are free at the pharmacy, so you can get those anytime you want. I think the hospitals have them as well, if I'm not mistaken. And know why you're taking the medication and how to take it. A lot of people don't ask the doctor, why am I taking this medication? And if the doctor, some people say, well, my doctor's not very communicative. Talk to your pharmacist. They actually know as much as anybody about medications. So they can tell you, they can say, well, you must have diabetes if you're taking this medication. And you say, no, I just got a heart problem. Well, there's a problem there. So report the effects of all your medication, and if you're not taking it as prescribed. So when you go to your doctor, if you are not having any effects, or if you are having effects, you should tell your doctor what effects you're having or not having. And use medications as prescribed. And when I say that, that means don't cut your pills in half, don't take somebody else's pills, and use your mind. As we keep saying, the mind is very powerful. Use positive thinking and imagery to imagine your medicine is working well. You can tell yourself in your mind, hey, my medicine's working great. I can run a mile a day. For some homework, and it's strictly your own choice, for some homework, we suggest that you complete a personal medication list. And that should include the names of all your medications, the provider who prescribed it, the dosage, the date started, the reason for taking it, and any allergies. That's a lot, but it should be all there.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're traveling away, because the more information you have, the better. And when I say the list should also include all over-the-counter medications, herbs, vitamins, creams, ointments, eye drops, etc. Even eye drops should be there. We're going to go on to making informed treatment decisions. Now in this book here, Chapter 14 covers that entirely, of making informed treatment decisions. So making informed treatment decisions. We hear about new treatments, new drugs, nutritional supplements, and alternative treatments all the time. Since we know that chronic health problems seldom have a cure, it is easy to hope that these things will help us. We all want the magic bullet.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't exist. Yep. So, we need chart 23 there. So we're evaluating our treatments. The first thing you got to do is say, where did I learn about this? My healthcare provider, scientific journal, supermarket tabloid, ad on TV, neighbor, flyer. You see them all the time advertised on TV. All these magic things. So where did I learn about it? Very important, you know. And were the people who got better like me? In other words, if somebody says, hey, I got better by taking this pill, I had fibromyalgia, but you've got diabetes. So how is that pill going to help you? Believe it or not, people do think it's going to. So we're the people who got better, like me. Very important. Also, you know, the age, the gender, the lifestyle too. That can be very important. And could anything else have caused these positive changes? Seasonal change, other medications, emotional change, stress levels, any of these. And does the treatment suggest stopping other medications or treatments? Does it eliminate any important nutrients or stress only a few nutrients that could be harmful to you? Very important. Can I think of any possible dangers or harm? You have to take that into consideration. Does the treatment suggest not eating certain foods? Big one. Can I afford it? I don't know if you ever look at a pharmacy. I do it more so now since I've been doing this course. But I look at some of the supposed over-the-counter medications that's supposed to help you. One that really surprised me, take a look and next time you go to the pharmacy on Lakota, for example. You hear it advertised all the time. Yeah. Take a look at the cost of it. A little bottle like that, 17 bucks. And that's just a little bottle. Am I willing to go to the trouble and expense? Those are all things when you're evaluating your treatments, these are all things that you should take into consideration. Every one of those. As I say, if you take the course, get the book, you'll find it all in there as well. And there are URL to help you find more reliable sources. Look at the author or the sponsor of the site and the URL addresses. There are URL addresses that are good. And those are, you know, like if they end in GOV, because it's a government. Yep. EDU is education, such as the Stanford program. ORG, such as National Council of Aging, so .org. .gov, as I said. .ca is the country code for Canada. And .ca is complicated to secure for a website, so they know that any website ending in .ca has expanded effort to do so. .gc.ca is a public health agency. Those are some of the ones that are really good to go to if you're looking for things online. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of short things here. And this one here is dealing with depression, which people with chronic illness quite often go through. How do we know if we are depressed? How do we know that?
We don't want to be around people.
Mm-hmm.
Lethargic, not enjoying things that we normally would enjoy.
Mm-hmm. It could be. As I say, like I'm not going, that is in here, but I'm just not going over everything, but you're right. You know, like it can be something that just happens that day, you know, like, I mean, people lose a pet. They can go into a depression for a day or two, you know. So, I mean, things can cause it that is very short term. But there's other ones that are long term, like suicidal thoughts. That's long term and dangerous. But some of the things they have in the book, you know, like you've got most of them here, because you've got feeling tired, fatigue, so on, sleep patterns, appetite, loss of interest in your personal care. That can happen too. Yeah, people just don't even feel, I don't feel like getting dressed today, you know. You know? Mm-hmm. But sometimes I like that too when I go. So.
That's a difference.
Yeah. Crying without any reason, you know. Frequent accidents because your mind's distracted. You can stub your toe or whatever. Argumentative, yeah. You can become argumentative over little things. Confusion, yeah, I think you got that anyway. So we get quite a list there. And again, as I say, like we would go through that step by step like we normally do, you know. What are some ways to make yourself feel better? Exercise? I'm sorry? I didn't see that.
Walk.
Get
Go
inside,
outside.
get inside.
We're going to go into the most important point of this program is what we call an action plan. It's done every week of the program, the whole 6 weeks. You pick an action plan. And what an action plan is something you want to do, and it has to be action specific. Now, losing weight, for example, is not an action. But if you're going to change your diet to lose weight, that's an action. So it has to be action specific. It has to be what you want to do. And when I say what you want to do, the first thing that comes to mind is I'm going to walk a mile. It doesn't have to be that. It can be read a book. It can be clean up my closet. It can be I'm going to vacuum the car. You know, it can be I'm going to take in a play at the theater. You know, it can be anything that's action specific. And it's what you want to do, how much. So, you say I'm going to clean up my closet. Okay, how many closets? You're going to clean 10? You're going to clean 1. You have a week to do this. So, it has to be how much. Also, it has to be when. When am I going to do it? So I'm going to clean up my closet. I'm going to do it on Saturday afternoon. So it's action specific. I'm cleaning my closet. How much? I'm only going to clean 1. And I'm going to do it Saturday afternoon. So that's how many times a week. And then you have to give a confidence level. And your confidence level should always be between 7 and 10. If you say it's going to be a 5, that's a red flag. It means you're not going to do it. So we try to get your confidence level, or you have to get your confidence level between 7 and 10. So you say, okay, I'm going to clean up my closet. I'm going to do 1 closet this week, and I'm going to do it on Saturday afternoon, and my confidence level is 8. And these are action plans. Now this is the one for Colchester, the one that Carolyn handed out. Every district has a different one. They're all the same as far as action plan, but they might have a different format to do them. Like we have like little pads that are about half of that size that we hand out the pad. And then, you know, like, but it has the same information onto it. This one, I like this one, it's pretty good, you know. But we do that every week during the course, from week 1 right through week 6. And then we get to week 6, because that's your last one, we'll say, okay, what is your plan for the next 6 months? So, to keep your action plan going. You might say, well, I'm going to improve my cardiovascular. In other words, you're going to exercise more for the next 6 months. Or, I'm going to finish cleaning the house, spring clean the house. Yep. But it's something you want to do for the next 6 months. But the action plans are very, very good, because what it does, it starts getting you doing things that you may not have been done. So, and we do these all the time. And, you know, like what happens is I've had people that I've met after I've done the course that say, I'm still doing an action plan. Hey, that's great, you know?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
So when people do their action plan once a week, when they come back, do they share success stories?
That's what they do.
Because I can see how accountability-wise that would cool to get stuff done, because you know
Yep.
you're going to report to the group, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing that if at the end of lesson 1 or session 1, we would say, okay, you're going to do an action plan. Everybody says what action plan they're going to do. It's not secret. You say, I'm going to do this. So you give your action plan. The next session you come to, it's the very first thing you do before your session starts, is you go over your action plan. Now, when we say action plans, sometimes weather is a factor, particularly if somebody wants to walk.
Yeah.
weather can be a factor. But you can change it. You can say, well, the weather wasn't that good this week, so I couldn't walk. So I decided, like I'd tidy up the garage instead. So you can alternate if something prevents you from doing something. Because I know the last class I had one lady that was going to the valley to visit her mother. Well, bad weather, she couldn't go. So she did something else instead. Actually, she baked cookies. So that was an action plan. But she couldn't go. She eventually did. She kept using that as an action plan until she eventually did get to go to the valley to visit her mother. So action plans can be anything that you want to do. Not what somebody else tells you to do, it's what you want to do. Because if it's what somebody else suggests, chances are you're not going to do it. It's the same way as if somebody says, like I'm going to walk 7 days. Well, I try to discourage that because you're not going to do that. I try to say, why not just gradually build into it. I'd sooner somebody be successful in what they do than not be. So rather than say I'm going to walk 7 days, I'm going to walk 3. That's doable. So these are action plans.